fifth choice? The fifth choice I made that I still choose every day was to embrace my boundless capacity to give love and to receive love. When I talk about these 5 choices, for me, it was linear and sequential. Only because I couldn't do one until I did the other one, because each one built upon each other, and each choice I made actually helped me realize that love is a choice. And the distinction that you and I have talked about is love as a verb. Not love as an emotion, which is not a choice, but love is a verb, the actual act of giving it and receiving it. And that manifests in a whole bunch of different ways for all different people at work and home and within our communities. Will you share with us a time that you chose to give all of your love? And what did that feel like?
Gosh, this is so deep, Trish. Like, this isn't just your normal, like.
Well, you've shared things already that is all around that. So now I'm asking you to share more.
This was the hardest one for me of your amazing questions. So I have a little bit more of a metaphorical answer as opposed to on July 16th of this year, something happened. For me, something I've struggled with my whole life, and I'm sure it has deeply rooted things back to that small town in Indiana, and a father is an alcoholic and the family trying to stay together and stuff like that. But for the people I love the most, it is sometimes really hard for me to share transparent feedback. When my clients hire me, I have no problem. Like, hey, Joe, Sally, this is going well. You got to do better at that. Like, it's no problem for me to do it. I don't know why. That's part of what we're paid to do. But the closer you get to my immediate family, the harder it is for me to say that wasn't good enough, or I think you can do better. And I'm not sure it was good or bad. As a father, who knows how to be a good father or mom or whatever. But it's really hard for me, and I had to work really, really hard to do that. So back to your question, I feel like true love, and I'll lean on our old Hewitt stuff here, is both caring and requiring. It's both brutally honest and said with love. And when I feel true love, I feel somebody in a caring way share feedback from me for maybe I have a blind spot or something I haven't thought about, or I could do something better. And I feel like true love for the other side is something like that too. It's like, it's truly trying to act in the very, very best interest of others.
Choosing to give all our love in that way feels great, but why? So why do we not? Why do sometimes, and a lot of times, we all withhold?
I wonder if it's, I'm sure it could be different for everybody, but I wonder if for me, it's about a deep fear of not being loved back, or of resistance, or of if I really tell it like it is the person can be angry or sad or whatever, but some kind of fear that it's not, somehow it's going to reflect poorly on us. I feel like almost all of our motivations are something about us. So why we do something, why we don't do something. So maybe at least for me, I can think through like, why don't I do that from times? And I'm better now than I was before, but even now, sometimes I'm resistant. And I wonder if for me, it's like some kind of fear that the conversation won't go well, or it will reflect poorly on me, or maybe I wasn't right to begin with, or something like that.
Totally. I'll raise my hand on that. For me too. And I think about this, and this is probably just more of a reflective question for myself and you. I think about, there's so many reasons why individuals every day choose to withhold, right? Just to withhold giving and withhold receiving. And I know this is grandiose, but I think to myself, imagine if each of us, or just more of us, more often showed up with the spirit of, I'm choosing to give the love and I'm choosing to receive all your love. no matter what happens from there, I'm choosing to show up. And imagine what that would mean just for our day, for our life, and the
Yeah,
people
and
around
how
us.
much deeper our relationships would be, how much faster we would grow, and all kinds of things. I think you're exactly right, 100%. I've got a
Little bit,
Yeah,
little bit at a
we've got a
time.
good couple friend of ours, Mike and Diane is particularly good at this. Like if she feels it, she says it. And she does it with a smile or a joke or a question or whatever. She's incredibly good at bringing up topics, way better than I am. And I've like learned a lot from her about the way she does it. And she just makes it small. Like if she's worried about something, she says it, but she makes it small and with a laugh or a joke or a question, some kind of easy entry. And it's always good. Like she's just incredibly good
Yeah,
at transparency and sharing that love in that way. And I really look up to her for it.
it's awesome. Before I wrap up, this makes me think. So a lot of times, if I'm working with teams or whatever it is, people will ask me, "Well, Trish, how does love manifest itself in the workplace?" Now, I always turn that back to them and say, "I don't know how does it manifest itself." But Mo, what you do, and specifically because I always love reading and watching your
Yep.
professional focus, you do this so much with teams, but will you just tell us a little bit more about BD habits? Because I think that really, from my perspective, is a way that giving and receiving love manifests itself in a
Without a
professional
doubt.
environment. And if I'm stretching too
No,
far,
no, no. I
tell
think you're
me.
spot on. So for context, and I'll share for context, almost everybody that we work with has some kind of deep expertise. So one foot into something they had to learn over 8 or 10 years, and then one foot in retaining or growing that business. So we teach BD stands for business development. We teach basically growth and retention skills for experts. So examples of that are lawyers, accountants, consultants, people like we were. But it also could be like an account manager at a big healthcare company or some service-based organization, or maybe purely salespeople. But we've done a decent amount of work with just pure leaders too. People that are trying to say you're a CIO or a CHRO, you've got to grow your influence, sort of your book of business, air quotes around that, and your ability to be strategically helpful to your internal clients as opposed to just being an order taker. So, what BD Habits does is it teaches three big things. Specifically, we talk about growing a book of business, but really that's about growing an influence. The second thing is growing relationships, which parlays nicely with anybody. And the last one is like growing your career, growing your impact, growing your ability to basically make a difference through habits. So if we're talking about growing your influence and growing your relationships and growing your impact because of those things, that's what the BD Habits course solves for and teaches people how to do, because most people aren't taught how to do that, sadly.
Where can people? Because I know that I have access to that, but is there somewhere somebody can go to get
Yeah, well,
access to learn
it's
more
really
about
easy.
that? And I'll post it. I'll
Well,
post
it's
it.
real
But
easy.
where
It's
is
at
it?
bdhabits.com.
There you go.
So it's super easy.
See,
bdhabits.com.
love
And
it.
and honestly, it's like what's in there is you sign up right away, and there's like 6 emails with videos that I tape that talk about how to do those three things. There's even like a self-assessment for your influence that you've got, job aids, toolkits. Like we put a lot of thought into it, and there's no charge for it. So I would like
Yeah.
that's one of those things that we talked about giving a lot. That's one of the things we put out in the universe. We're like,
Yes.
we just want to give this to folks. It's like the first 5% of everything that we teach, and there's no charge for it.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
the others.
otherish.
It's right.
It's
Yeah, the
otherish. I
otherish.
love
The
it.
otherish. I I believe with my whole heart that we create enduring success and fuel the success of those around us when we choose to give all of our love and we choose to receive all the love others want to give us. It's a choice. We all have the power to make it. And I thank you so much, Mo, for receiving the love and giving the love with me today and just sharing everything and spending your
100%.
time
And
with me.
you've inspired me through this, the model you've built for this, the question set. Let me tell you,
Mhm.
this is deep stuff. I encourage anybody to like write down or go for a walk and think about your answers to these questions, because I'm a better person. Like I said, because I went through it, and like Trish, seriously, like I already won before we even logged on, because I feel like I learned so much from you, just answering the questions and with your guidance on how to think about them and things like that. So you can't thank me. I'm thanking you. Thank you.
Ah, you're awesome. All right. And Mo and I thank you all for joining us for this Choose and Become interview episode. Awesome. Thank you for joining me for our Choose and Become interview series. You could find this episode and others at trishkendall.com. Just go to trishkendall.com/choose-become-interview-series. Or if you have a question or just want to leave a comment, email me, trish@trishkendall.com.